All right, thank you so much, everybody, for coming in. My name is Sheldon from ASTRICE in the Water Consortium. So assisting me today with the application as well as the chats or questions from the participants is Ms. Alicia Lim from MyCDNet. So as mentioned, any questions later on for our panelists, please put it into the chat so that we can see the question comes from which particular person. So we'll have a name and then your question there. Q&A will be at the end of the sessions after the two panelists have done their presentation. And before you leave the session today, please stay back because there are a few announcements in regards to any future events as well as follow-up evaluations on today's session itself. With that, I would like to invite our moderator, Tuan Haji Muhammad Khairi, to help with the event and to start the session for all. Tuan Haji Khairi is our Deputy Network Manager for MyCDNet, former Director of NAWABS with extensive experience in river basin management. And if everything is okay, Tuan Haji Khairi, please, invitation is open for you to help open up the session for us.
Thank you very much, Mr. Sheldon. And selamat pagi. Assalamualaikum kepada semua peserta program kita pada pagi ini. Very good morning to all participants who have attending this program. And based on our schedule, it will be our program will be starting at 9:45 in the morning. And for that, I would like to invite Datuk Engineer Lim Chohok, our Chair Network, to give a welcome speech to express his expectation in this program, and or even to introduce what is MyCDNet a bit on it. And we hope our participant will get some info, and before we have two presentation by the prominent speakers. Please, Dato'.
Right. Thank you very much, Tuan Haji Khairi. Yang berbahagia, the Tan Sri, Puan Sri, Dato', Datin, and the ladies and gentlemen. A very good morning and salam sejahtera. On behalf of the Malaysian Capacity Development Network for Sustainable Water Management, or in short, MyCDNet, I wish to welcome all of you to this webinar entitled Climate Resilient Water Management for the Future. And for this morning, we'll focus on the two aspects, floods and droughts. As all of you are aware, Malaysia, like many tropical countries, has a very high annual rainfall. And in Malaysia, I think we have almost up to nearly 3 meters of annual rainfall. Certainly, you will expect that the risk of flooding is very high, which certainly will have an impact in terms of loss of life as well as damage to properties. And moreover, on the average, every 5 years, we do experience what we call a dry period or dry season. And some hydrologists will call it the mild hydrological drought, which may again result in severe water shortage and hence resulting in water rationing. Now, how do you handle and manage all these two water-related so-called event or disaster? Ladies and gentlemen, I'll leave that question to be answered shortly by our two eminent and knowledgeable speakers from DID. And as what the moderator, Tuan Haji Khairi, mentioned, allow me at this moment to introduce what is MyCDNet, or the Malaysian Capacity Development Network for Sustainable Water Management. At least to many of you who have not heard of us, basically, we are a network focusing on capacity development, trainings, and so on and so forth, right? On all matters related to water, particularly on the implementations of the Integrated Water Resources Management, or IWRM. And certainly, for those of you, you can go Google and click on our website, you'll notice that we affiliated to a global network known as MyCDNet, which is actually a unit under the United Nations Development Program, or UNDP, that deals with sustainable water management. And this looking at water management from the source to the sea. And in addition, we are also linked to more than 20 other national and regional networks, like what kind of networks throughout the world. In Malaysia, we're not only having a national network like MyCDNet, we also have another, we call the Southeast Asian Regional Network, known as Agua Jaring, and currently it's also headed by Malaysian Datuk Kadir. Now, what does MyCDNet do? We do carry out a lot of training programs for all kinds of stakeholders, all right? They deal with water, anything touch on water. And obviously we touch on water resources, water supply, wastewater, environmental governance, impact of climate change, green technology, as well as a nature-based solution. And the list can go on, all right, as long as anything that deals with water, and we are there to, in terms of providing all the necessary kind of trainings. And incidentally, I wish to announce that we do have a lot of training material which can be easily available from our website, free of charge. You can, I think, all members can actually, even the public can download them for purpose of training. And these materials are not only just from our MyCDNet website, but also available from the MyCDNet website, including also the other regional so-called network available that's throughout the world. We also have a good training material together with our so-called our sisters organization, Malaysian Water Partnership, as well as the event water itself. So I think all kind of training materials are available on our website. Click MyCDNet or click MyCDNet, and then you'll find a lot of good materials that water from all range of water management. So on this aspect, for those who have not heard of us, who has not actually joined us, I wish to welcome you to come and join us. Membership is free. You don't have to pay any entrance fees or annual subscription, but certainly you have definitely had a lot of benefit that you can enjoy. And just go to our website, click the application form, download it, fill it up, and then submit it by email to our secretary assistant, Ms. Alicia Lim. All right. Now, before I conclude, I want to take this opportunity to thank the organizing committee for this webinar, which is headed by Puan Sri Zahara, also assisted by Tuan Haji Khairi himself, Mr. Wee, and also Prof. Man, and also to our host, ASTRICE, for making this event a success. So, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed this webinar and benefit from this as well. All right. Thank you very much and stay safe.
Thank you, Dato', for your short and nice speech given by you to welcome all the participants. And I think you have covered what is MyCDNet all about and what is our expectation in this program. And before we start for the first presentation, as I mentioned by Dato' and also Mr. Sedan, this morning program, we touched two big issues. One is about flood, which is we have a lot of water, what they call it, create risk and disaster. But at the same time, we're also facing short of water during drought. And how to balance these two things in our country. So this will be touched by our two speakers, Dr. Zaharifudin and Dr. Asnor. And first speakers will be Dr. Zaharifudin, which will be talking about flood and how the management system developed by DPS can help us in terms of managing the flood and end up with how to plan and how to reduce the risk of flood for the purpose of water resources for the future. And Dr. Zaharifudin obtained his first degree in from Universiti Kebangsaan Malaysia in 2000, and later Master Engineering degree in Hydrology and Water Resources Engineering from UTM 2009, and PhD in Water Resources Engineering from Malaya 2019, recently. He's a professional engineer. He's a board of engineer since 2010, and he has started career as a civil engineer in DID since 2002 at the Integrated Agriculture Development Office in Seberang Perak, where he came from. And in September 2005, he was transferred to DID District Engineer Office in Perak Tengah and worked as Assistant District Engineer. After graduating with Master at UTM in 2009, he was placed in Hydrology and Water Resource Division, DID Ampang, until 2013. Currently, he's working and is one of the important players in our system management tools, PRABN program. What do you call it? In English, is a National Flood Forecasting and Warning Center, who will be given all the info to public, expected flood and how long it will take. The amount of rainfall is coming into all the states in Malaysia. And with that, I think I call upon Dr. Muhammad Zaharifudin bin Muhammad Ali to present on the topic of flood and how we should play with it. Thank you. Please, Dr. Zaharifudin.
Okay, thank you, Tuan Haji. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin wassalatu wassalamu ala asyrafil anbiya'i wal mursalin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul 'uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. Okay, first I would like to thank to MyCDNet because inviting me as a speaker today. And I'm very glad today because together with me is my former colleagues, former boss, Datuk Lim, and Tuan Haji, Khairi, and actually Dr. Asnor used to be my boss actually. Okay, but today we are sitting on the same platform to discuss about flood in terms of the flood resilience. Okay. Okay, as I mentioned, topic for today is the flood in the perspective of the climate resilience for water management in future. Okay, my presentation will cover 5 subtopics here. I will start with the introduction, what the climate resilience is all about. And the second topic is the evolution on the flood forecasting system in Malaysia. And then followed by the PRABN itself. PRABN is in Malay, Program Ramalan Amaran Banjir, National Flood Forecasting and Warning Program. And after that, we share with you the way forward and the challenges we facing implementing the PRABN system here, and then followed by the conclusion. Okay, as the introduction, I would like to start with the definition of what is the climate resilience. Okay, for the definition, I quote from the climate resilience portal. They mention in their website there, the climate resilience is the ability to anticipate, prepare for, and respond to the hazard. Oh, sorry. Okay, and respond to the hazardous events, trends, and disturbance related to climate. Okay, by improving the climate resilience involves assessing how climate change will create new and alter the current climate-related risks and taking steps to better cope with the risks. Okay, why the climate change happen? So as we know, this is about the activities of the human, the emission of the gas, greenhouse gases, which lead in the height of the reducing of the ozone and affecting the increasing of the temperature in the earth. So that's why we feel the climate change. Okay, and then based on the same website, they list here the resilience resolution. They outline the 4 sectors that we have to concentrate to be climate resilient. The first is the business resilient, and at the state level resilient, and the city resilience, and financial resilience. But today we are going to see what happened in terms of flood. Okay, as we know, the effect of the climate change, there are 2 major effects that we can feel. The first, the temperature itself. We can feel the temperature now is very high as compared to the days before, and sometimes we get very cold for 2 days or 3 days, and after that followed by the very high temperature of the air. So this is the climate change effect, which is lead to the annual rainfall reduce, and on the opposite side, we also experience the intense rainfall more frequent. In other words, we can feel the rainfall, the downpour of the rainfall is very intense, which is lead to the more flash flood occurrence. Okay, this is the effect of the climate change that we can see, and then we can feel about it. And of course, the consequences of this scenario, okay, we can see the flood occurrence increasing, and the magnitude itself as the consequences as well. We can see a lot of damages reported in various media, and of course the widening of the flood inundation area. This the statistic showing that the LBS, mean the laporan banjir semasa that we receive from districts in JPS in the ID. As we can see the figure here, there's a pattern for the two decades starting from 2001 until 2020 here, and the pattern is slightly increasing for the recent decade, and especially in last year we received a lot of reports, flood reports, and for your information, based on this statistic, more than 90% of this statistic is belong to flash flood, and another 10% is the coastal flood and the monsoon flood. Okay, for the monsoon flood in Malaysia, actually the monsoon flood is causes greatest damages in Malaysia, and as the Datuk Lim or Tuan Haji is saying just now, we experience a lot of rainfall and a lot of the flood events, and based on our record here, we experienced major floods since 1960s, and if we list down the record here, almost 2 or 3 years we facing the major flood for monsoon until 2003 and 2014, and based on our experience, there are at least 3 extreme events occur for flood in monsoon season. They were in 1971, 2006 and 2007, especially in Johor, and then the recent one is 2014, which is caused 25 of deaths and more than 500,000 flood victims evacuated, and the estimated of the damages losses is about 2.8 billion of losses. Based on this experience, what does the ID do? We are shifting the method of the forecasting from conventional approach to the catchment modeling approach to get a better forecasting of the flood. Okay, and of course, in the way of the implementation of the catchment modeling, there are evolution of the flood forecasting in Malaysia, and I would like to share with you the evolution process here. If before this, we are using the kerantung we hit the kerantung to make a sound to alert people at site, and after the technology of sirens come in, we are implementing the sirens to give the information to the people. And for the data collection, before this, we don't have any system on telemetry. We collect the data manually, and people have to come to the station to collect the data. And during the flight, the ID personnel have to stand by at the station to collect the data and inform the police station where located of the center of the flight operation there, to tell them what is the current status of the water level at that time. And after the technology comes in for telemetry system, we adopt the telemetry technology, and we develop the telemetry system in Malaysia. And the first info banjir version was developed in 2001, if I'm not mistaken, by using the telemetry system. Okay, by having this kind of the technology, before this, we are using only the observed water level at the upstream level, plus with the observed rainfall at the upstream, to do the flood forecasting, to anticipate what's going on the downstream when the upstream water level reach a certain level. But now we are using the real-time rainfall and water level together with the rainfall forecast and the catchment information to do the 1D and 2D simulation to produce flood map for flood forecasting purposes. Okay, this is the summary of the evolution process starting in 1970 to 2000. We are starting from 1970. We are implementing the Sacramento model, and together with the stage correlation. SC is the stage correlation here. And after that, in 1980, we are using tank model, linear transformation model, and together with stage correlation. And 1 decade after that, we are using the tank model, but the modified version together with linear transfer function and stage correlation. And in 2000, when we have a good data, and this is the first system that we implementing the telemetry system. That's why we have the SMART here. SMART using the AWBM, Australian Water Balance Model for flood forecasting. And before SMART developed, we are using the flood watch or 1D model. And still we are using the tank model modified version and linear transfer function. And in 2010, when the technology of the satellites come in for the flood forecasting, rainfall estimation, we are adopting the atmospheric-based rainfall runoff model for flood forecasting. And we have a small innovation project I developed with Dr. Asnor in that year. We call it the online snake curve for flood forecasting. And still, now we are using the AWBM Smart and Tank model. But since PRABN implemented in 2015, okay, we start using the 2D hydrodynamic model, and together with the statistic and stochastic model, and also the unit hydrograph and the tank model version until now. So this is a summary of the evolution of the model that we use for flood forecasting. Okay, so what is the PRABN, or what is the National Flood Forecasting and Warning Program? Okay. Okay, basically, we call it NAWABS, National Flood Forecasting and Warning System. We call it NAWABS in short form, or PRABN in Malay. NAWABS consists of four main components, namely detection, and then the database, the forecast data center, and the prediction is the model itself, hydrodynamic model, And the most important part is the dissemination part. So the detection part is about collecting the data, various source of data from various of agency, for example, JUPAM, Meteorology Department, and others department related to the data collection of rainfall and catchment information. And of course, we are doing the development of expansion of the rainfall station and together with the water level station. And we are also doing the engineering survey for getting the river alignment information and the cross section. And also we install a soil moisture station to get the information about the real-time soil moisture at the specific location. Besides that, we have the flow or discharge station and evaporation to be installed for the detection purposes. And of course, we are using the DEM, the sharing data from JUPAM. We get it from them for the whole of Malaysia for the modeling purposes. And all of this data will be stored in the forecast data center. We collect it real time or we cache inside our system for the name is the forecast data center, which is located in Bandar Estate in Negeri Sembilan. Okay. The real-time data stored in the FDC will be used by the flood forecasting, and then we assessing all of this information through operation center in our OPC PRABN, Pusat Ramalan Amaran Banjir Negara. And from here, we do dissemination to agencies, especially the first priority is the NAWABS NDCC. Their control center, National Disaster Control Center, and they will further the dissemination to their agencies on site. And then NAWABS to NDCC, they have the cooperation with the MMC to do the SMS dissemination for the ground people. Okay. So this is a review of the forecasting model that we use. Okay, before this, we only have hindcast data. I mean, we only have the observed data for do the simulation of forecasting. But now we are using three kinds of the data. Hindcast data is the observed data, consists of rainfall and water level. We get it from real-time data. And also with the operation information on the reservoir at site. If that particular basin have dam or have a reservoir. And we also using the nowcasting data from radar, and radar blended with the NWP that we call that MMD call it nowcasting data. And for make the idea able to do the forecasting, of course we need the forecast data. And our sources is there are two sources of forecast data. The first priority is the NWP itself, numerical weather prediction data, rainfall forecast. And the second priority is the GFS rainfall forecast. The GFS data is the same that we can see in the system like WinDTV, and all of the data will be stored in our database before the modeling system use this data for do the simulation for flood forecasting. And currently we only have in phase 1 only for 3 river basin only, not 3 state but 3 river basin, Sungai Kelantan, Sungai Terengganu, and Sungai Pahang. And all of this information from the simulation will be disseminated using email channel, SMS channel. SMS channel will be carried out by NAWABS through NDCC, and website through our portal, public info banjir portal, and mobile apps. Okay, this is an example of the NWP data that we received from MMD. As you can see here, this is the animation of the previous data that we use in the operation. So by using the NWP data, we have the 7 days of forecast from the initial time, so that we can know where the event of rainfall will be occur in our region in Malaysia. Okay, this is the spatial data. and we converted the spatial information data to point rainfall to make easy our forecaster to do the monitoring and checking on the data itself. In other words, instead of we get the spatial data here, we also converted this information into point data time series for flood forecasting and warning. And this is the rains data, the rains data that I mentioned by using the model. They have blend the radar data together with the NWP to produce a new data. They'll call it rains or nowcasting data. And also we are using the system of flood info banjir to get the telemetric data, the real-time data for water level and rainfall data. Okay. So this is the modeling part. Okay, we are using the ICM model, Integrated Catchment Modeling, developed by HR Wallingford. For these 3 river basin, we set different time, different interval of running time origin for those model. For example, Sungai Terengganu, we set the schedule of the running time for every 3 hours. For Kelantan and Pahang, we set every 8 hours. So that means every time of every day we can have at least 3 simulation result, almost real time by the model. So by this way we can see and then we can close monitoring the event of the rainfall, either the flood will be occur or not, by utilize of those data for input data. Okay, what the models produce from the simulation. Okay, of course, the model produce the flood extent map on the model, and then this flood extent we can overlay on the DEM, the 3D digital elevation model, which is the 3D version, so that we can have a good information on the flood depth on the inland area. Before this, we don't have the flood forecasting producing the flood extent of flood map. That's why we cannot estimate what's going on the floodplain. But now we are using the 2D model. We have the flood extent of flood map here, so that we can overlay on the DEM model, and then we compare based on our point of interest (POI) on the river basin, so that we can analyze where the flood will be happen. And some area in the basin area got flooded, but there is no point of interest. So this area we don't have any very less attention to give priority, instead of another places that the POI has very frequent flood on that floodplain on the river basin. And based on this simulation, we have so many flood map. Because the model running for 3 hours, for 8 hours, it will be produced flood map for every hour, so that we can have a good time series for the POI. So that means before this, we have the at the water level only for the flood simulation and the time series, but now we have along the river and the selected area along the river, and the information on the land about the flood depth in terms of time series. And inside the model as well, we can set the automatic alert, so that the personnel in the control center, I mean the forecaster, they can easily notice where the area that we have to emphasize for the forecasting. Okay. Before we blast or release the flood warning to the agencies, to the people, we have to check with the main alert. I mean the warning released by the MMD, Malaysia. If there is a warning that released by the MMD, we have to study the warning. Is it tally with our simulation? If those information is tally, then we will produce the bulletin or flood warning to be released. And before that, we have to do the verification by the forecaster and together with the Pegawai Hidrologi Negeri (PHN). And before we blast, we have to get a green light from our director, PRABN director, before release the warning. So this is the example of the flood warning bulletin we produce based on river basin. Okay, and this information we shared with the NAWABS, and NAWABS we will proceed with the SMS dissemination based on the postcode of the area lokasi dijangka banjir ni. We have the postcode there, and then NAWABS will be based on the postcode there. Those who have the their telephone number registered with that postcode, they will receive the information of flood warning SMS dissemination. Even though they are in KL or in other places, they can receive it. Okay, so this is example of the text of SMS that blasted by NAWABS. Okay, inside the text we have the information when and where the flood will be estimated to be occur, and then where the people can get more information and where they can call to get more information about the flood here. Okay, I would like to share with you the study case. This is the real one. The flood warning disseminated on 7 November in 2018 in Sungai Terengganu River Basin. Okay, so this is the time where we blast the we estimate maybe the flood event will be occur, and this is 2 days before. Okay, so we go back to the future. 4 days before we before the flood estimated occur, actually at that time Malaysia released a warning, heavy rainfall warning, alert level, which is yellow color here. They mentioned they released the warning on 3rd November, 5 o'clock in the morning. And then they estimated this event will be prolonged to the next day. And we checked the model. There's no indication of the flood will be happen for the next 2 days. That means on the 5th of November. And after that, on 5th November, 1 o'clock in the afternoon, Met has increased their level of warning into severe level, heavy rainfall, very heavy rainfall warning in Terengganu area and the northern part of the Kelantan here. Okay, and then this event will be prolonged up to 7 and 8 November in that years. So we check the model, the output model here. We can see the water level will be reached at the warning level here for the 2 days, and then there will be 2 events actually coming based on this warning. We check this Sungai Telemong at Kuala Ping area, and this is Kuala Brang at Kampung Menero. So we do think that we have to make a warning based on this information. So before that, we check the Himawari satellite here to get more information about the weather, and we can see there is two courses will be hit at the East Coast area, and this is similar what Met warning to release the warning here. That's why we proceed with the flood warning bulletin here for 2 days earlier, and we estimate that at least 8 locations will be flooded on 7 November as early as 1 a.m. early in the morning, and 4 locations will be flooded on 7 November at 11 in the afternoon. Okay, so this is 2 days before. Okay, we shared the information of the flood warning through our public info banjir, and the media, for example here, the Asnor Awani, they take the information and they also consult with us about the warning, and they do a broadcasting of the information through their media. Okay. So one day before, like I mentioned just now, the simulation is in progress. We have at least 1 day, 3 simulation, new simulation. Along the day, we have to check and monitor the forecast that we release and the warning that we release. So we have to update daily of the information. So one day before, actually, we do updating on the warning here. And then we updating the dissemination to the public portal and to the NDCC NATMA as well. And then this is on the forecasted day. As we can see here on the cold surge here, there is no event actually, and actually the event trajectory shifted on the northern part of the Peninsula Malaysia here, and all of the event before this we can see 2 events, and all of the event accumulated at the southern part of the Thailand on 8 November here. Okay. So this is the day after the forecasted day. Forecasted day. So the MET, based on the information I presented just now, MET reduced their warning into yellow level, alert level only, and then the next day they terminated the warning. But the ID, we are not straight away terminate our warning, because based on the hydrological processes, and of course there's no rainfall, but the water in the upstream will go down to the downstream, and this process, some of the basin will take 1 or 2 days before. That's why we cannot immediately terminate the warning. So we have to study, we have to look into the simulation to ensure that all of the water get up from the basin before we can terminate the warning. So that we only can terminate the warning on the next day, which is on 9 November in the midnight at that time. So this is the process of the warning that we released, that information. Currently, we only disseminate on the flood forecast or flood warning dissemination only. Okay, this is the summary on the model. By using the model, the ICM model, we utilize the various kind of the input data, for example, from the satellite, from the forecast, from the real time, and also the information on the ground there. And then inside the model itself, there are 2 main processes occur, which is hydrological processes and the hydraulic processes. For the hydrologic processes, utilize the catchment information, land use information, the soil information, and forecast rain information. In the hydraulic processes, we utilize the same information, land use, catchment, and together with the river alignment, river cross-section, the 3D model to get where the inundation or the propagation of the flood will go. And of course, the infrastructure or structure inside or within the basin. For example, the reservoir dam, or maybe there is water body inside the basin. Before we can come up with the flood simulation and flood warning. Okay, what is the way forward of the PRAB or NAWABS, and what is the challenges? Okay, so we do hope that by having the PRAB, which is the main function, is to provide enough time, ample time to the agencies like NATMA or APM to their activity at site during the flood, so that they have a good time, good planning. They can have a more efficient and systematic plan to carry out their responsibility. In other words, we hope that before this, we are evacuating the people during the flood, but after this, we can hopefully, we are not only evacuate during the flood, but just before the flood happen. I can say before the flood happen by vehicle as per se, but actually this one to indicate that the easiness of the well planning on the activity of the evacuation. Okay. And another point is what we have now. Before this, we only can give focus information based on the key focus point at the location of the water level only. But now we do have the information on the river alignment and in the flood plain, so that we have three kind of the point of interest, which is the key focus point, water level station. Focus point is the along the river, but we don't have the water level station there. And another one is the target point. This is the main important here. By having the target point, we can give the alert to the people. As we can see in the bulletin there, we can list down which village, which area, which nama kampung or interest point that we want to give alert to the people at site. Okay, so this is I think this is the beauty of the information from the PRABN model can give to us. Okay, and for the future, we hopefully that we can provide the information on the live flood hazard map or live flood information, and also we try to manage to produce the flood forecast impact assessment by using the same model in the PRABN, and because in the PRABN system, we implementing the catchment modeling using almost, I think, complete data that we can from the ASTRICE agency inside within the river basin, so that we can have a good impact analysis on that area. In other words, before this, we only focused on the water level station only and using the historical flood map to do the forecasting. By having the PRABN system, we hope that we can easily give the alert based on the POI area, and then based on the impact, assessment. Nowadays, we call it the impact-based forecast. So this is our way forward of the PRABN. Okay, this is what I mean for the real-time forecast flood hazard map. Before this, we are doing or we are developing these three kind of map, flood inundation map, hazard map, and risk map individually, one after another. For example, for inundation map, after we are doing the simulation or based on information on the satellite image for the flood area, we get the flood extent, and after that we overlay with the flood extent information, flood depth information, velocity, and the propagation of the flood inundation. We get flood hazard map, and after that we overlay with the information for hazard properties within the area. We analyze for the flood risk map. Actually, these three things actually consist or available in the model PRABN system. So that's why we are thinking about to producing the real-time flood forecast. Why? Because we are looking forward for the impact-based forecast in the future. Okay, I think this is good. The good matter. The PRABN we can see as a tools of the water manager, flood water manager. Like I presented to you, we are using the meteorology information, hydrology information. We have a good basic information, and we have the modeling output, and also we do the analysis on every data that we have. So this kind of information can be shared to other stakeholders, NAWABS, at the state level, at the local authority level, and I think the main important is the dam operator, so that we can have a good planning in terms of the flood water management. Some of the dam or reservoir has been designed for flood mitigation, so that's why by having the PRABN system, we hopefully can share those information in terms of the forecasting. We can share to the dam operators so that they can have a good SOPs and they can have a good management of the flood water within the river basin. And this is the estimated of the services that we can produce by having a PRABN on a fast. Flood forecasting, of course, this is the current that we have, and flood hazard services and the coordination of the flood water management within the basin and the flood risk management together with the flood impact assessment. And one day, I think PRABN and NAWABS, okay, the NAWABS will be presented by Dr. Asnor after this, and hopefully we can coordinate together. Maybe we can have a integrated system just for the to having a good tools for water management in the future. And why we are thinking about all of this? Because we want to have a sustainable development in our direction to be climate resilient. Okay, what is the challenges? And of course, forecast accuracy is still questionable. But I can say that the accuracy of the model itself, we can say about 70 to 90% of the accuracy of the model. But when we talk about the forecast accuracy, is various because we are depending on the real-time data, the forecast data, and the data available at that time. And of course, the lack of the quality and insufficient hydrological data coverage still we're facing. That's why we proceed the PRABN project for phase 2 and phase 3. We are installing more hydrological station to get a good data. And I have to admit that there's a flaw in dissemination because of even we have a good dissemination system, but still the information must be received properly by the end user, and we have to depend on the forecast accuracy and the good quality of the data to make it our dissemination information correct. And the last one, I think we have to think about the time of processing inside the model, computation time. I think we are know that of course the engineer, or the modeler, or the researcher, those who are familiar with the 2D modeling, we run the model, and then the model needs more time to complete because of the 2 model mesh to be completed. So this is the main I think the main challenge inside the for the model inside the model itself, and we are struggling to optimize the computation time now. Okay, that's why we have to strengthen the flood forecast infrastructure to complete the development of the flood forecast model for all river basin. We targeted the 41 main river basin throughout Malaysia, and we are planning to do the re-engineering for flood forecast model with local expertise. Before this is what we are going to do. We want to develop a local model because we want to encourage the researcher and expertise in Malaysia, not only using the model, but we have some model that we can use for flood forecasting or flood water management. And to improve the forecast and warning system, develop the flood hazard mapping as a part of coordinated disaster prevention and management plan. Okay, so this is the way forward. List of the 41 river basin that we are going to complete it in the coming years. Okay, as for the conclusion, I can conclude that the flood forecasting is as a main tool to support the flood prevention and mitigation strategy to ensure the climate resilient. And the second thing is the forecast, warning, and response system, very important for reducing the risk, loss of life and economic losses. In the future, PRABN will be used as a tools of water management, and this will must depend on the many factors, including the stakeholders' acceptance and their participation during the implementation. Because when we are talking about the basin management, we deal with various kind of data, various background of people, various background of agency. So we have to tackle everything to get a good output from it. Okay, this is a point to ponder. Like I said, we are dealing so many people, and of course, to dealing with water and to dealing with various state, various local agency, we should have a good Malaysian standard in terms of the flood resilient, and we should carry out intensive awareness program for climate resilient, for flood, for drought, and also we should have a good law or regulation and a good enforcement for everything, just to be climate resilient. Okay, before I think I reached to the end of my presentation, I would like to share with you the verses from Quran, Surah Ar-Rum, verses 41. Auzubillahi minasyaitonirrajim. Zaharul fasadu fil barri wal bahri bima kasabat aydin nas liyuziqahum ba'dallazi amilu la'allahum yarji'un. Corruption has appeared through the land and the sea by reason of what the hands of people have earned. So he may let them taste part of the consequences of what they have done, and perhaps they will return to the right years. So we have to bear in mind that the effect of the climate change is because of the human, and we have to, I think, bersyukurlah, and then we have to get back to the right ways, how to manage it, so that we can have a betterment of the human life. Okay, by then, thank you for listening for my speech and the term that I presented to you. Okay, so I pass back this floor to Haji Mat Khairi. Thank you, Tuan Haji.
Yes, thank you very much, Doctor. Very good presentation covering not to the extent of details, but study deliberately mention and touching on a lot of subjects in floods, and how especially on the modeling, data collection and things like that. Congratulations to you, because you managed to finish it within 45 minutes, and not even I didn't mention it for 45 minutes at the beginning. For every presenter, actually given 45 minutes to present his paper anyway, but it's good. So because we start earlier, then now it's 10:30, so we have a break here before we proceed for the second presentation. But maybe the secretariat want to have a photo session during this time before we start for the next presentation. And I don't want to comment on the presentation, because there will be a Q&A session and some further deliberation on the subject will be due later. So Alicia, can we have a photo session now? Or maybe all the participants can turn on the video. And to all the participants, since the presentation is English, but if you want to ask or write in the chat using bahasa, you are welcome. You are welcome. You are welcome. Okay. Then, okay, Alicia.
We wait a bit for everyone to turn on the video.
I saw Zulkifli Yusuf, is Professor UTM. Yeah, I think so. Welcome, Professor. Okay, can
actually
Prozul, yeah, Prozul.
Yeah.
Arah sungai pun ada ni. Cik Jamil Syari.
Oh, okay.
Tuan Api.
Because I can see all the. It's good to have them all here, and all the queue is welcome also. Welcome also. All the queues, not queues. I'm expecting more queues. Okay, so we can discuss and because this program is really for awareness program. So we want to get more people to understand what the government and the NGOs do. Okay, can you start the session?
Yeah, video is still coming on one by one. Okay, is that all?
You should have more than 40, isn't it?
There are 100 people now.
Oh, okay, good. Because on
Are we
my screen,
limited the numbers? Are we limited the numbers of participants in this TOT?
No.
Well, at the
Sure.
moment, I'm trying to get confirmation from the IT team, but nobody has replied yet. I think we have to assume that it is limited to 100 at the moment.
Okay. Alicia, how to get all everybody on the screen?
I have whoever's on video on now. I'll just print screen
Okay.
now. Okay, so just get ready. There are like 3 pages.
Okay, good. I saw Dr. Jamie is there.
Hold on. Ready?
Big smile. Done?
Okay. Okay. Thank
Okay.
you.
Okay, it's done now. Thank you. Having this program through online, or you call it Maya, it's good because everybody can smile, everybody can take their own time, and we can have dalam keadaan santai. So at the beginning, we start talking about the stress. Really got stressed during the MCO, but it's good to have this, so at least people can release some of stress and hearing some good things for them to understand what's how should we manage our water despite of problems around the world at the moment. Flooding everywhere in Spain, in Japan, in many parts of the world. So, but we also expecting some drought in the year, and in fact, Malaysia also facing the same things, facing the same problems. We have too much water, we have too little water. Because basically we have 2 cycles of wet and dry in Malaysia. So let's Dr. Asnor to explain to us about droughts and about management system that is developed by GPS and NAWABS, National Water Balance Program. And later when during the Q&A, we can have more questions and how to deal with these 2 programs and how we should develop, plan and develop within the river basin. So Dr. Asnor is a subject matter expert for hydrology and water resources, Department of Irrigation and Drainage, Malaysia. He's involved a lot of programs in locally and abroad, and he obtained his PhD in meteorology from University of Bristol, Britain, and he has experience in numerical weather prediction, hydrologic forecasting, and water resource modeling. He's a member of the Malaysian International Hydrology Programs, MIHP. Currently, he has participated in various national water resource development projects that include the water resource projects development, coastal reservoir and off-river storage in state of Malacca, coastal reservoir in Lebam River in state of Johor, water transfer from Perak River to state of Penang, and recent water resources system, national water balance management system, NAWABS development system. He has started since 1999 as a water resource engineer specialist in hydrology and water resources in DID, and he works as engineer at the regional humid tropic hydrology and water resources HTC. And this engineer at DID Gombak, Selangor. Then he was awarded the Department Excellent Services Award 2003 and 2013. He's former Secretary of Malaysian Hydrology Society, MHS, and is a lifetime member of MHS. So he also involved in Typhoon the Committee, WMO, under the National Hydrological Activities, and several Newton Fund projects. With very vast experience, and in the department, he has the reference focal people in our subject matters on hydrology and water resources. So I think without further delay, I invite Dr. Asnor to deliver his presentation. Please, Dr. Asnor.
Okay, thank you, Tuan Haji, our moderator. Come to see you again for this morning webinar. Can you see my slide? Haji?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. So I would say I congratulate my colleague just now, Dr. Dane, has presented very good information on the flood resilience in DID, which has been working out since recently. And today is my turn to discuss with all of you about the perspective of climate resilience in water management as per drought perspective. So I do hope we could have some discussion from my presentation. So this is I would like to share about some of the information from the global is mentioning about the water stress by the country in 2014. This is from the World Resources Institute, WRI, from the worldwide. And then, as you know, that water is a life for everything in the planet, on the planets. However, according to United Nations, that almost 1.2 billion people affected due to water shortage or water scarcity in the world. And if you can see here, the red color and orange color, it means that this is a global issue. It's not an individual issue. As you can see, the red color, it can goes up to various of countries like United Nations, United States of America, and also in Middle East countries. There's a lot, very large numbers, very large color of red. So, for example, in USA, you can see there the water stress almost 80%. This figure shows that water withdrawal to the supply. That means demand more but less of water supply lah. So this shows the stress, water stress in the globe recently. So what happened if you don't manage it properly without any kind of tools for better decision making in the future? So this is my slide on my introduction about the my slide this morning under the drought perspective. So I would like to I will come again with some introductions where I browse it from the internet in terms of global issues on the perspective of climate change. And I will discuss with you about the observed rainfall changes in Malaysia as well. And probably I'm going to explain or discuss about the some of the product in our NAWAB, and also some enhancement in our product as well. As you know that we do have almost 9 outputs from the NAWAB system, and some are still ongoing and need to be enhanced in second phase of the NAWAB development. And lastly, I will discuss with you certain product from the NAWAB study in terms of the projection of the rainfall changes in some certain selected state, for example, Melaka and so on. Okay, so here I would like to share with you about the global information since 1980s until 2020. From this figure, you can see that almost 1.5%, I mean the rising up of the temperature. This is a global surface global information. This is observation data. This is not a forecast or projection. This is observation data from 1980s until 2020. This is came out from the NASA product, NASA report. So you can see that we are in climate change scenario. By 2020 and 2016 is a year with the El Nino. 2016 is very severe El Nino, but I would say in 2020 also we do have experience in hot weather as well. It's very warmest years in the record as well. It shows from this figure, and it's happening in Malaysia as well in the last year, January, February, and March, especially in Kedah side and also Melaka side. So this is a fact figure which have shown from global, and also I have touched a bit from the local experience as well. So this is a map shows that almost 405 countries, the extreme weather, they recorded under this global reported UNFCCC, United Nations Framework Communication on the climate change. So there's a red color and blue color. This is reported by those countries to these global committees on the climate change scenario. Red color shows that there is reported has been done, and they have a lot of the evidence to show that extreme rainfall. If the raindrop shows extreme rainfall. If the temperature, you can see this is a anyway, how to show the pointer. Okay, this is the extreme temperature, extreme rainfall, and in our part in Malaysia, it's a blue color. It means that we have no evidence to mention that this climate change influenced by the human cause. So this is I would like to share with you. Some country has been reported quite well about the climate change on the extreme events, and also Malaysia also taking part their involvement as well. So this is I would like to share with you about the scenario in the global about the economic loss. You can see that the damage versus the economic loss in term of, in almost 1 billion, the maximum one. So in conclusion, I would say that in this figure, the economic loss dramatically increased during the 1990s, and a lot of severe events has been reported in this report. So it means that more event we are towards to coming here now. We do have a lot of events, extreme event, drought or flood, or typhoon or heat waves or haze, something like that. Everything will be affected with the economic loss. So you have to bear in mind that we have to enhance our management or any kind of our tools of the technology, because as you know that the environment is very unpredictable nowadays, especially the weather, and also I would say the sciences. The science also keep upgrading. Yeah, as you can see that previously has been presented by Engineer Din, Dr. Din just now. The forecast has been previously, I mean, from the GFS, they are managed to provide you a forecast probably less than one day or less than 6 hours. But now they are improving their technology and information and your skill and knowledge as well. And their forecast can be up to 2 days, most accurate informations. But nowadays they are toward to probably 3 days or 4 days, 5 days, something like that. That's why I said the science always update. So that means we should update ourselves in terms of the water management as well. So this is I would like to share with you some information from the World Economic Forums last year, 2020. It says that you can see on the top right. Let me check. Yeah, there's a lot of event here, a lot of extreme information, extreme event which occurred to the very extreme. The versus between livelihood and also the impact. Okay, let me narrow down this. Okay. Okay, you can see here the climate action failure. Climate action means that this means that the information of the climate change measure has been measured and implemented with these localized, probably that particular country's policies with more strategic and better planning, and they have a lot of improving in terms of education as well. So from this report, it says that all the policies has been made by those countries. They have, again, they are reported with a failure information, failure measures. So I would say that this is the world economic informations that the most risky, the most risk, I would say the most sensitive risk at the moment now, the extreme event here on the right side. But however, the information or the policy or the strategy still not work effectively is a failure matter. As I said just now, my previous slide, that probably those policy or those strategy has to be upgraded by year to year. It's not a one-off solution, but you have to upgrade all the information by year to year, because as I mentioned just now, the environment keep update, unpredictable, and also the sciences has their own upgrading of information and technology as well. Yeah. Oh, I cannot move my slide. Hello, can you hear me? Aji?
Yes, we can hear. We can
Right,
see your slides as well.
Okay, thank you, Zaki. Thank you very much. Here, I would like to share some information from the study as well, some of the literature. I found that to show that the climate change in the globe, in particular to Malaysia's case as well. So here, the red color means decrease, the blue color is increase. So when you see in Malaysia case, for 50 millimeters, they have recorded captures whatever climate above than 50 millimeter, how many days in a year. This is the information in the report. So in Malaysia case, almost I would say, where's it's almost 20% increase. It's keep increasing, while other countries, Southeast Asian, like for example in Vietnam, they also be increased almost to 40%, more than 50%. So our side is more than 20%. So it shows that the climate change also keep changing, not only is global issue, it's not a localized issue. And also the same thing reported by MMD. They are all in northern part of Malaysia, keep increasing. And this is some of the study from NAWABS. It shows that this color Kelantan, Terengganu, Kedah, and Sabah. This is a sensitive area. Probably in the future we'll get more flood or more drought. This is a very sensitive area compared to others area. Okay, so let us go with the water accounting in Malaysia itself. You have noticed a lot of issues in the globe just now, in global issue, in terms of economic, in terms of the climate action plan has been not really failure. I mean, have to be improved by year to year because of changing of the technology and also the environment. And this is I would like to share about the region, the 3 regions in Malaysia in terms of the water resources, amount of volume of water in Peninsula, Sabah, and Sarawak. This is for the precipitation rainfall. This percentage of the evaporations. This is based on a study, National Water Resource Study 2011, and groundwater volume, and then this surface runoff in the river. So once we capture only 50%, the reporter said that 50% will be goes into dam, WTP, reservoir, only 50% from this total amount, 141. So I would say almost 21 BCM. So the rest 120 will be flowing directly to ocean or to sea. So we have wastage about 120 BCM in Peninsula itself, probably during the flood event, if I'm not mistaken. So this is a numbers that we can make use this number for future plans. As you can see that we also have experienced water rationing in Selangor. We do have water shortage in Kedah and Melaka as well. As you know that Melaka is considered a deficit water state, almost minus 380 million liter per day. So always shortage in every day. But due to water transfer from Sungai Muar, and then they are managed to overcome that kind of water shortage. But what happened if there is a El Nino in the future? We have experienced El Nino in 2060s, almost 20 or 30%. Let's say 30%. Yeah, let's say 30%, especially in Peninsular Malaysia. Let's go to Peninsular Malaysia first. So before the normal season, probably we have 21 BCM in our record. But if there is a El Nino, 30%, I may say we try to deduct the 21%, and then we only have 14.7 BCM. And our demand here in Peninsula almost 13.7 BCM. So it's very close, it's very close. So no wonder we do have a water rationing in a certain area. We have a kind of the water shortage in certain areas as well. So this is the facts and figure from our report. So it shows that, yeah, it's happening. And this is what's going to happen if you are not managing, or we are not developing our tool of technology in the future. So that's why we have to upgrade all the information by day to day or time to time, something like that. So we should put a resource on this. Yeah. If you compare with Sarawak and Sarawak, you can see Sarawak. If Sarawak, let's say, in normal season, probably 40 BCM, but if 30% deducted from that value would be 28 BCM, they are quite okay. They are manageable, so they are okay because their demand only 22.1. The same thing goes to Sabah as well, only 1.4. So from this conclusion, I will say that, for my thought, we have to put more resource in Peninsular Malaysia. It's very critical. It's very critical. So we do have experience in 2014, 15, 16, almost 3 years. Yeah, 3 years very hot, dry weather. While 2015, 16 is considered El Nino year. What happened if there is almost 5 or 6 years El Nino year? So probably more than 30% will be less from our normal events. Probably 50% or 60%. So do we have enough water to cope all the water demand? So here I would like to share some experience in terms of our experience, year experience about the drought. Not really drought, but during the dry and hot weather. So from the ENSO report, ENSO from the global report as well. Yeah, I would like to say 14, F15, 16 is our very strong El Nino, very strong El Nino. The second one would be 1977, 97 and 98. This is the second one, and the third one would be 92 and 93, but it's not stated here. But here I want to share only this is two is a very strong El Nino, very strong. The other is probably light or moderate, something like that. But even though in 2020, as mentioned in my first slide just now, 2020 the temperature is very high compared to 2016. So I'm sure that this kind of temperature will be more increased in the future. It will be increased in the future if you're not managing the emission, like the carbon dioxide and so on, right? Because once you increase the temperature, I'm sure that there will be a significant impact to other variables as well. For example, rainfall, flow, and so on. So it's very important. Why they're showing they have mentioned about the temperature, because temperature is manageable or reasonable. They have captured for forecasting and so on compared to rainfall, because rainfall is very dynamic. It's not for example in the rainfall is a average value. Certain of the country to country that they just took the average value. It's easy to forecast. Compared to rainfall, it's very difficult. Until now, there's a lot of argument about the forecast the rainfall until now, because the area normally the area as been mentioned by MND previous ago, and also from the journal or from the literature, you can find that almost 400% the area between forecast and also the observed. You can see the gap is very huge, but until now they are still improving in terms of technology and so on. So once it's vulnerable to us, so it means that that particular area in Malaysia, as mentioned just now in my earlier slide, that area in Kedah, Kelantan, Terengganu, and Sabah is a very sensitive area. There will be more flood or more drought. So this is the main factor because of the rainfall changes. Rainfall changes mean to the climate change, due to climate change scenario. So from these two factors, the ENSO is El Nino regard to the La Nina monsoon as well. On the right side and the left side, you can't control. We can't control it because this is a nature from God, so from Allah, so we cannot control it. But on the right side, your urbanization area or your land use, you can control it by a lot. You can control through your planning and strategy and so on. So this is the urbanized area as well. It shows that in urbanized area, for example, any kind of urbanized area. This is from the study by Lee et al. In 20. Cannot see the year. He found that in urbanized area much more sensitive compared to rural area in terms of rainfall intensity. So they are increased very huge compared to the rural area. So what's going to happen if there is too much water? This is one of the slides I have shown from the PRABN just now. And if too little water, we have experienced in 2016 as well. There will be dry up in your storage and so on. So you'll be implement your water rationing for your next SOP to handle this kind of problem. This is water rationing in Selangor 2014, almost affected for 6.7 million people at that time. And this is experience in early 2020 in Kedah and also in Melaka. So we have this kind of experience. So here I would like to tell you that you have your plan, everything, and we do have our projection as well. And this project is very important. It's not a science, but it can support your plan in the future. And this projection data only produced by IPCC. IPCC, the only agency can produce the projection data for low emission 4.5, high emission 8.5. So this is the main agency. So we need the projection skill or information for the future for better plan. Yeah. So we have this kind of I would say this is a product this is a product from the NAWABS, which is very important, very high resolution by using the statistical downscaling. So where we start? So our tools, this kind of decision has been, I mean, the NAWABS or NAFAS started from our DASA Sumber Air Negara, or we call it National Water Resource Policy, 2012, I think in February, had been launched by the cabinet. And in this DASA, we do have several of trusts. Yeah, we do have 9 trusts, if I'm not mistaken. And the first trust is water intelligence, to develop a comprehensive water resources information system. So that's why we from GAPS or from our ministry, we are developing this kind of the system, NAFAS and also the NAWABS, to support the goal of the DASA, and also IRBM as well. They have IRBM, they have 4 points here: ensure the adequate water, and to ensure and clean water, and so on. So we will support in terms of the and to ensure the adequate water, so we can provide the information of the volume, the numbers to the any kind of study in DID. So this is the previous system which has been developed by DID since I was in water resource section, I think in 2000 series lah. We start develop this kind of information, 2000 series. Myself dengan Puan Yusina is currently deputy director in Selangor. So both of us and lead by, if I'm not mistaken, Mr. Lokun Singh. So develop this kind of system. Very simple system. Only I think we do have only three information. First is river flow, water storage. What else? And also the SPI. Only these 3 information. And I'm sure that this system has been upgraded more effective information by the next engineers. And also, I'm mistaken, Dr. Din also part of the Info Kemarau team before he joined the PRABN. So this is some information has been published under the Info Kemarau website. So that started since, if I'm not mistaken, 2000 series, and now in 2016, we developed this new system called as National Water Balance Management System, or we call it NAWABS. So this is the main important things. This information basically to support the river basin managers for better decision, especially in terms of the water ability. We do have a water ability in the system. We do have a short-term forecast. Short-term forecast mean that below than 40 days lah, because below we do have several of short-term forecasts, 7 days and 4 days. 7 days we managed to get it from PRABN, because PRABN is a pioneer system from the MMD. MMD will push their data into PRABN, and we capture those information from PRABN. While for the long-term forecast means that more than 14 days lah, probably 2 months or 3 months, something like that. Although it's not, I would say, not really very good in terms of accuracy, but at least the climate forecast can show you the direction. There's a difference between climate forecast and weather forecast. Weather forecast mainly for the PRABN. The weather forecast is very short-term forecast, and climate forecast is a very long-term forecast. So the short-term forecast in weather forecast, they're available to mention to you in terms of the location and the magnitude. While the long-term forecast, they can't mention to you the location and also the exactly magnitude. So the direction is there, but still we normally in water resource forecast, for example, for the water ability, it's good to use the climate forecast. This is only available in the globe at the moment now, in the world at the moment. And we do have a planning mode as well. We will extract those projection data from IPCC by using the statistical downscaling. For those data, we will couple with the projection data from other stakeholders, for example, the land use, and also the demand, the demand from the span, and also the population from relevant stakeholders. So all this information we will gather all together and then we put into NAWABS system. So probably in second phase, we will enhance the first phase system so that the water manager easily to browse what kind of information in terms of water ability in the future. So this is our plan, yeah. And also as you know that in NAWABS system exactly, I would say the data input exactly the same in as the PRABN for flood forecasting. We are using the real-time data, rainfall, river level, flow, and so on. But the extra information here is from the pump information. We do have pump information from stakeholders, and we have SOP from the structure routes, for example, dam, Baris Dam, Brian Tunggal Dam, Jus Dam in Melaka. So this is the basic information of our recent system currently. So this is the product. This is the output from the system itself. We have strategized and planned and designed it for 9 main outputs from the water accounting, where we collect all the information, rainfall, flow, everything in the reservoir or even though in the dam. We collect everything, all the data, and then we put in our system and we call it as the water accounting, so that the water manager will understand how much water they have in their river basin. Water ability and water demand. So this is very connecting each other. I'm sure that we have to come up with the water demand first. Once we collected from span, and then later when we abstract it, we manage to get the water ability. Then the water manager will understand how much water in their river basin, especially for sub-basin as well. We managed to do that. If they click at the sub-basin, they will understand. They will understand how much water in their management area. And fourthly, this is water allocation, water parasitation. This is the red circle here. I would say it will be 5 points here will be improved in second phase here, because in phase we are not quite well using it properly because of the information, very lack information currently. Probably in the future will be more information, then we can enhance this system, we can enhance this module, the 5 module in the future. But the structure is already there, it's already in the system, so we need to gather and improve it by time to time. And then release as well. We managed to do that for Baris Dam. Yeah, Baris Dam, how much water will be released during the drought season, and how much water to be released to maintain the river level for the pump operation, especially for irrigation during their first season or second season. And water quality. This is I would say that we still need to improve this water quality. Because currently we do not have the real-time data. We managed to publish this kind of information only in the one-off, according to the map. Only the map, only we managed to do that. We don't have the real-time data for water quality. And also the water resource index. Yeah, we have that. We have that in our NAWABS system. We keep improving the WRI. Previously, we are not coupling the water storage, but now the second phase, we are trying to coupling this information with the water storages. We try to coupling with the water allocation, prioritization to make sure that to ensure that the WRI will be more significant in the future, especially during the operation. And lastly, is a water auditing. Yeah, again, in the first plan, we only publish in terms of plan demand curve. But I'm sure that there will be some room to be improved in the future. For example, okay. Oh, there will be some room to improve for in future. So we plan that we will integrate 4 elements here to what call this, to enhance the 5 information. For example, they should be related with the water ability. Whatever decision make in the future for the 5 item, they have to relate with the water ability, economic informations, the social information as well, and also the I would say the environmental flow. So they have to link these 4 information into the decision. Okay, this is one of the example. Do we have a time? 11:13. Yeah, we still have the time. So here I would like to share the water accounting in our system. This is the one of the product in Bernam River. You can show that. Let me browse it. What kind of information here? It says rainfall, evaporations. I can't see another 2. Apa tu? Ternampak. Okay, never mind. This is one of the example. If you go and if you browse in our system, you will manage to get this kind of information. And this one of the example from the study. Okay, you will see the schematic diagram, and also in Klang Valley. Yep. Especially in Kuala Lumpur area. And again, as I mentioned just now, once you click at the sub basin, the water manager will have this kind of information: rainfall, evaporation, I forgot the NR and UR, the surface runoff, and also the losses. Okay, so this is the information will be ready in our system. And this is the water ability from the system as well. You can click if you have any kind of a point of interest, for example, WTP, you can click at that point of interest or at that station level or at that flow station level. Then you will understand, then the system will come up what's the 14 days forecast or 2-month forecast in that particular POI. So all these things will be captured and shown to you properly in our system. So this is where I mentioned just now. We try to improve those 5 output I had mentioned. We still enhance it in second phase. So those information will be related into water ability, economic, environment, and also social. So this kind of information will be done by our Runding. And then I'm sure that there will be statistical performance, statistical evidence to show that the link up between that output with this kind of information. And also we will enhance the WRI with the storages as well. So here some of the evidence to show that in Muda River Basin, how it works. For example, first of all, the SOP in Muda before they are releasing the dam water, first of all, they have to depend on the rainfall itself. This is their SOP. They will depend from the rainfall itself at the local ground. So if there is a rainfall, means that the irrigation will be depend on the rainfall itself. If still not enough, so the managers of the irrigation agency will, I would say, pump up the water from the river. So this is the river. They will monitor the river. If there is a very sufficient value amount of water, then there will no release from the dam. But if there is a problem, for example, in this part, I would say from January and March is a critical month in Kedah. This 3 months is very critical month because less rainfall, less rainfall and more demand because they have started the season 1 for the paddy in Kedah, in Sungai Muda area. So one they are noticed this is the value in the river and this is the demand, the total demand, and this is the demand from the water supply, and the orange color is the demand from the irrigation. So once the manager has understand or capture this kind of information from various of stakeholders, so the system will come out similar like this. So later on, the water resource manager and the dam operator, they try to play around with the system, how many meter cube will be released for the next 2 days or for the next 1 day, something like that. If they say 5 meter cube, so how much water in the ground, in the river? Yeah. or 10 meter cube or 15 meter cube, how much water. So from here, there will always, I would say, a technique for them to play around in the system. So whatever it is, we still need their demand. So once the demand, they have to key in into the system. We don't know their demand because that is not the ID data. It's belong to them. So they have to input this data into our system properly, because the system always, if I'm not mistaken, they are running 10 a.m. every day. The system keep running 10 a.m. every day. So they have to input their data before 10 o'clock in the morning. The system won't take too long to run the model, because it's this is not, I would say, not a hydrodynamic, but similar like PRABN. This is a very statistical hydrological model, very fast. So the same thing here as well. So if they notice this kind of formation in the system, so I'm sure that the water manager will notify by himself how much water will be they need in the future in terms of MCM or MLD. Depend on the water managers. On the other side as well, what the system does, the system managed to came out to monitor, to monitor the river levels from here, so that the water operator for pump, they managed to understand that how much water at the moment in the river through the system. Because currently, if I'm not mistaken, most of the water pump in Malaysia, they are permanent water pump. They are stick at 2 meters. So if there's 2 meters, but if the water below than 2 meters, they have to change their system into portable pump. So if portable pump is very small, they can't fix with the demand. So again, what to me again, if there is below, the river level below than 2 meter, again, there is a volume. Yeah, they can abstract the volume, but they need a pump. So from here, I'm sure that the river managers will to be alert when do they start to use this kind of portable pump. The same thing goes in Malacca. In 2020, you can see the water rationing almost how many months, from 29 January until 1 April in Malacca, due to the very hot and dry weather at the time. If you talk about the Klang Valley, this is the recent study, they found that based on the water balance output, we do have almost 2841, almost, if I'm not mistaken, 1,300 MCM. We do have that kind of amount in our Klang Valley. So let's see the demand for Selangor. The demand, at least that volume can, I would say that that volume can be covered can be covered for potable water demand. This is for the whole Selangor. If the KL part, probably less than this. So I'm sure that if there is the water is quite clean, with the recent technology for water treatment plant, like I don't know the recent one, probably they may use the purification technology, filtering there, filtering here, and a lot of chemical to be mixed up with the water. Then probably all those dirty water, they can came out with the very high quality water. So this is a technique. So we have to browse this kind of recent technique in the globe. So I'm sure that this amount of water, almost 1,300, if I'm not mistaken, the MCM, can be useful at least for the Malaysia, or at least for the Kuala Lumpur, or even though very close by WTP. For example, WTP in Ampang, the requirement for WTP in Ampang only 20 MLD, only 20 MLD. So at least this output can be delivered to certain selected WTP in Kuala Lumpur. So very useful to me, very useful, this kind of a system. Okay, and also instead of surface water, we do have this kind of a potential groundwater yield as well. This is a study from the NAWABS under the groundwater or MyCDNet, something like that. So this kind of input currently we place it in the system as a one-off because we don't have the real-time data from the groundwater. So we we formed the study and we came out with this kind of spatial information, and then we put into our system. So this is the only way we managed to do this under the groundwater information. So as similar like water quality as well, we don't have the real-time data. So this is our plan for the water operations. Probably we will come out this kind of a technique. We try to couple the XPI, the WRI, and also the water storages. And also we try to link up those information with the water presentations, water allocation as well, and also the dam release and the storages. So we try to coupling all this kind of information. It's very good information, a lot of information in water resources, and we try to link up all this information with the XPI and also WRI. We try to do that in the second phase now. Yeah, we do have the integrated water resource management previously, but now we are going to the sustainable, how to sustain the water resource for the future. So this is the question normally came out for any kind of water resource manager. How much water do we really have in the river basin in real time? Yeah, because this system can provide you a real-time information and also can provide you in terms of forecast, 14 days forecast, 2-month forecast. All these things will be captured in the system. Yeah. And then the second one, how much water will be extracted or available for the use. So all these things can be answered through the water accounting as mentioned just now. We put all the information of water, rainfall, river flow, whatever water in the reservoir, dam will be put into the system as a water accounting for that particular river basin. So from there, the water resource manager at the state level to me, because water is estimator, and they will understand or they will notify by the system that this is the amount of water, what do they have available in their system. So meaning to say that this is the projection, the climate change, the climate model or weather model or the hydrological model, all these things under science, which always upgrade from time to time, yeah, due to unpredictable of environment. So they have to do this, and unpredictable environment plus the unpredictable activities by the human strategy for future development. So this is, I want to say that very important. If you project for the globe or one global, so you can't downscale specifically into your river basin. That means you have to downscale it at a better finance domain size. So this is very important because they will give you some guideline or information in the future. For example, under IPCC, this is the IPCC product. The low emission is 4.5. It means 4.5 watt per meter square. It's a radiative forcing. Radiative forcing regards to the carbon dioxide, temperature, something like that. 8.5 means that the very high emission, yeah, produced by IPCC, and 4.5 is a low emission. So this is the temperature, the criteria of the temperature has been that has been what call this relate into this kind of emission, 8.5 and 4.5, and now they are producing a new data set, you know, SSP. You can see the changes of the technique, the changes of the technology. They keep improving time to time. So are we capable to follow or to follow the direction of this kind of technology? Previously 4.5, 8.5, and now RCP. They call it RCP, but nowadays they're towards to SSP. More recent technique and more recent data, and we have to keep updating our knowledge, keep updating our system, and this is we have to put more resource at the end. So this is some of the information I would like to share with you. You have to notify this kind of indicator, number of rain This is one of the product. I mean, I would like to share with you some of the product of the projection data under the NAWABS study in certain selected river basin. So let's say raining day, number of rain day, CDD means longest dry spell, CWD means the longest wet spell, rainfall 1 day means maximum 1 day precipitation in a year, and rainfall for 5 days, maximum conservative 5 days precipitation in a year. So they have analyzed the data in a year, then they will come out in terms of they will come out and produce it in as a spatial information. And SD11 it means that the simple precipitation intensity. So here, in the case for Melaka, Sungai Melaka lah, means Sungai Melaka, not the whole Melaka, the Sungai Melaka. The study compare the low emission and high emission. So the low emission for 20, I cannot see now. Okay, I can't see it. Okay, let me do like this. Yeah. Okay, on the left is 4.5 and 8.5. Okay, this is the high emission. This is the changes of rainfall here. Yeah, you can see here. And then if you're 2020 until 2050, this is the changes. In August, the highest changes in August, I think almost more than 10%, less than 20%. So we have a similar agreement dengan first study just now. We have mentioned the same literature, the same finding. They found that in Malaysia will be more rainfalls coming in, 0 to 20%. But until 2100 from 2070, the high emission definitely will be more higher lah, because this is a very high emission. Yeah, they're using the criteria high emission. More than the carbon dioxide is more than 1000 ppm. The temperature is almost 3.2 until 5.5. This very high emission. So the carbon dioxide also very high emission as well, more than 1000 ppm. The current reading of ppm carbon dioxide in the world now 410. So you can imagine the very high emission and very low emission. And this one of the product shown you in spatial map. So you can see, I would like to share only these two. One, wait, okay. Only for the SD11 and also the CDD. Okay, what is CDD and SD11? Let me check again. CDD, the longest dry spell, because we are talking about the drought perspective, longest dry spell, and SD11 is the precipitation intensity, the intensity of rainfall. Okay, the longest dry spell. So they will indicate of this certain area very high dry spell in the future, because this study up to 2100, very high emission 8.5. Same thing goes to here. This is for the intensity. You can see the legend here. There will be more intensity at the downstream. So this is how you can make the plan in the future. More downstream, more rainfall in the downstream, and also there will be more dry spell in the upstream. So it's matched between drought and also the flood. For the Kelantan case, only 8.5. I'm showing the 8.5 high emission. Same thing goes here. Yeah, you can see very high in the month of the August as well. Similar pattern in Melaka. While for the spatial information here, you can see the dry spell will be on the eastern part, western part compared to eastern part here. Western part of the state of Melaka. For the rainfall intensity will be more in downstream, yeah, downstream to Kota Baru. Okay, the changes almost 10 to 20%. How about in Kedah? So this is the Kedah side for the high emission. What you can see here, their project until 2050. It shows that will be less rainfall, less changes. I mean, the rainfall change more will be in January, February, March. That means there will be less rainfall here because they change too much. There will be dry and hot in this January, February, and March. So it's similar things in 2070 and 21 until 2100. For Kedah side, for the dry spell and also the rainfall intensity, so will be more drought in the sitting area, probably lower side. But for the intensity will be more rainfall in the upper side. So totally different between Kedah and Melaka and Kelantan as well. So you can see the change of the climate in the future. So you can plan properly for your water resource management. What about the Bernam? So Bernam shows that more rainfall in the future. A lot of change, yeah. Not more rainfall, a lot of changes, rainfall in the future. Yeah, this is showing a lot of changes, yeah. And what about the spatial information in terms of the drought, dry spell, and also the rainfall intensity here? This is a dry spell. To me, it's a moderate. It's not very severe. How about the rainfall intensity? There will be more rainfall intensity in Selangor, especially in Bernam, at the downstream area, very close to the coastal line. So those information has been discussed with you. We have discussed a lot of information in terms of the globe information, and I'm mentioning about the what's a NAWAB in a short, and the function of NAWAB as well, and have shown you a certain of the product or output from the NAWAB in terms of the water quality accounting, water availability, and I mentioned to you five indicator, five output which need to be explored more detail in second phase, because we are towards the second phase now, started since last year, if I'm not mistaken, and then we plan it until 2025. So the first phase we have developed almost for 5 river basins, which are Sungai Muda, Sungai Kedah, Sungai Bernam, Sungai Melaka, Sungai Kelantan, and the ongoing development under the NAWAB second phase. The rest will be Sungai Perlis, Krian, and so on, almost 12 river basin, and this is our plan for phase 3 and phase 4. So this is my end of my presentation. Before that, let me share with you some of my conclusion about the NAWAB. NAWAB is considered a decision management tools for the balancing of the demand against the water ability with certain of scenario, because we are coupling with the water projection data just now. And I have spoke about the each management has their own different characteristic between Melaka, Kedah, and Kelantan just now. Very different angle of the climate change. And once the climate change totally different, I'm sure that there will be significant impact into the water flow in the river. And from there will be significant impact as well to the water ability for our water resource management. So that to me, for the future plan, the water resource manager has to understand properly about the scenario of flood and also the drought, because they should understand the changes of the flood and drought as well. Because probably, as mentioned, the curve in Sungai Muda, probably during the flood, the water resource manager, I'm sure that they will have some plan to capture those certain amount of water during the flood event, and the best thing to use it during the drought event. So it's very close nearby, because there will be a flood. There will be a lot of rainfall probably since August until December, and from that period, probably the manager will be capture a lot of the water volume, and it's good to use it during the January, February, and March. So this flood and drought is very significant. It's not disaster to me. It's very, very good to use it for the future plan. That's why Allah create a flood and then create a drought. So make sure you can balance it properly for your future planning, especially in the water management. So at the end, I would say we need the projection data for future rainfall scenario. And in general, I would say that all these discussion which has been mentioned just now, from my early start slide until now, we still need this kind of technique or information under this NAWABS program for better decision in the future, especially among the water resource manager at state level. So with that, I would say thank you very much to Mr. Moderator and also for the organizer for inviting me to join this kind of today's webinar and sharing some information or knowledge from myself with the audience on the current development of the NAWABS for better decision management tools. Thank you. With that, I would say thank you very much indeed for your listening and your patience. Thank you. Back to moderator. Thank you, Haji.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Asnor. Very good presentation. There's many points has been captured, and looking through the chat, I saw a lot of questions for both of the presenters, but it looks like some of the question is similar to the others. So I try to wrap up some of the question to be more general, or so I will not reading each individual queue. So maybe 2 or 3 questions from different participants can I wrap up to one, and presenter can answer on the queue. But before that, after listening both presentation, the information given and the explanation given by the presenter, the things that is very useful for us actually, because this we're just talking about the flood and the drought, and managing the water resource is maybe numbers of elements and subjects to be considered, but this is a 2 area that is good for the people, the officers, for the planners to think about how to combine these 2 elements into a planning and development of the river basin. When at the state level, maybe the water managers can ask how to develop the water resource plan for each individual river basin. This is a kind of that, because as we know, for the last few days, there is a big flood happening in China, in Tokyo, due to some heavy rain and other things. So actually is being a disaster to the people there. So it's also involved many stakeholders and authority. And the information, as the presenters talk about, is coming from different departments, agencies who deal with it, who deal with the water. And but the good thing is what access of water during flood, how we can use it for the purpose of managing the demands during the drought. And the same thing also goes to what do you call it, changing the river regime by human factors due to development, needs, maybe we change the river regime, and that will also changing the scenarios of water abstraction, the operation of the water intake, things like that. And in our rivers, also we have uncontrolled and a controlled river flow. So these many things that we have to put in together into consideration for be good water managers. So, but this morning topics, flood and droughts, actually is giving some awareness. How should we deal with it? Okay, so now I'm reading some of the questions that posed by the participants to chat. But I try to combine some of them. One is Puan Siti Adabiah Sulaiman and Puan Sarina Abdullah is talking about how coordinate, manage the floods, and talking about the accuracy of the flood forecasting, and how to eliminate or classify the accurate and versus the foul warning, things like that. So maybe Dr. I think Dr. Zahar can read some of the question. Can you respond to that?
Okay, inshallah, Taji.
Yeah.
Okay, actually I also jot down here their question here. Okay, so the first question from Siti Adabiah, if not mistaken, regarding the accuracy and the what you call it, forecasting, right? Okay, and then the false warning SOP. So actually, in terms of the SOP, it's just the same that I have presented just now. Okay, the thing is when we are giving the false alarm or false warning to the people, how do we get to deal with it? Okay, actually this is my experience in, I think in 2018, I think, in the MTL that year, MET didn't give the warning, but based on our model at that time, because this is the second time there's the second time of the model being implemented in the operationalized in the water center. MET don't release any warning, but inside our model indicate there will be flood in Kelantan, if not mistaken, in Kelantan. So what we should do if we are not giving the warning, but there's a flood, so we are missing. Okay, so after discussion, the responsibility is on my shoulder. So I have to release the warning, even though everybody know, every agency know there is a MET alert at that time. So we have to release the warning for the people, and we are waiting that either the event happen or not. So on that day, on that particular warning, there's no flood, and then I've been questioned from everybody why you put the warning. So this is actually the challenges from in the DID to carry out our responsibility, because this is a forecast at all. So we don't have any assurance to make sure that the things happen on that particular day of the forecasting. So what we are dealing the best is we study whatever information that we have, and then based on our SOP, like I presented just now, we do the verification, and we asking the green light from the pengarah and also our DG, Director General, for the blasting. Okay, so when it was the first warning, we counter back with the flat termination, and we come up with the some kind of information to the people, maybe short notes, inform them that warning was determined because there's no indication of land. So that kind of information, and also that we blast. And then the procedure is same. We share at the first place with NAWABS to their NDCC, because they have the highest of level of authority who dealing with the people outside. The NAWABS in charge at the federal agency, federal level, but their team, APM, police, bomba, and army. So they have a good team there on site. So NAWABS is have a good authority to inform them about whatever we shared with the NAWABS. And then this question is actually similar with Zulfakar's question, Raji. So I answer together, I think. Okay.
Yeah.
He asked about the red tape. So when we are talking about the procedure, yes, of course, we have a red tape there. But yes, we do have experience dealing with this kind of authority. So who should blast? Who should verify? Who should give the authority to blast? Okay. So what we are doing, what we are did in JPS or in PRABN in the ID. So our DG give the power to our director, and then to make easier in terms of the warning dissemination, the power to provide the warning information was given to the person or the chief in the control center. Okay, and I and with my team, we are empowered with that that power to produce the information, but to release, we have to not to get what is called it the sign or the approval. No, we just inform them there's a flood will be happen, and these are the bulletin that we prepared. We are going to disseminate. So that means, in other words, I can say that I talk to the top management of the ID before we blast the email to the control center of NAWABS and DCC. So that's the way we work. And about the accuracy and the accuracy of a model and forecast, I think this question quite similar with Prof. Zul question, I think. Oh no, Prof. Zul question about the flash flood. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. I think I stopped that, Dr. Zahar first. So because I want to give the what cue also to Dr. Asnor, actually the question to Dr. Asnor also, because let's everybody talk about it. I try to capture as many questions as I can, because the session will be end at 12:30. Okay. Then I think I got it from Dr. Engineer Hanafi to Dr. Asnor. He's talking about model development either for PRABN or NAWABS is carried out by the private consultant and hand over to JPS for operation and management. We know the movement of technical staff in terms of posting is very dynamic in department. JPS expert trained in handling relevant models will be transferred out. It's talking about the human resource management. Yeah. So, do you think JPS should consider outsourcing services of these two? Just add in a bit on that question. The possibility of having these two models combined as to be more workable tools for water management.
Yep. Okay. Thank you, Tuan Haji, Khairi, and Datuk Anapi. Yeah. Currently, yeah, I do agree as well. But currently, as for your information, we do have a new post for expert post. I mean, especially for example, the SME, the subject matter expert has been established. Currently, it's 2 posts in DID. We do have 2 person in DID, but in line now we do have about 13, if I'm not mistaken, and Dr. Dian is one of them. 13 or 23, if I'm not mistaken. Berapa Din? 23 ke 13?
12 field.
12, okay. Okay. There will be 12 candidate lah. They will attend some interviews. So I would say that almost 15 people, 15 engineers will be nominated as the SME in the future. So we do have 15 engineers, at least those engineers, those SME engineers can cover for one division. So this is a way how the government try to allocate one expert in one division for the long run. So I think this is a good move, very good move in terms of training as well during the development. During the development, currently we do have as well the training period, for example, 2 or 3 weeks, something like that, along the duration of the development. For example, 2 years development or 3 years development. We do have this kind of scenario, and we have a case that our engineer has been considered what call this macam Haji Hafiz tu, dia pergi tu Hafiasan.
Oh, attachment.
Attachment. So
yeah.
we do have this kind of training as well, attachment. But not only Afiasan, but we do have several of engineers as well. For Rosina Yusof has been attached to the RPM as well, and a lot of our expert has been attached to very well expert consultant for future capacity building. So that's kind of the training purposes to enhance the knowledge of or skill of that particular engineers. And government also play their role by proposing or creating a new post for SME. So I believe these two agenda can be combined together for the future, better future in terms of the skill. So this is one of the approach lah. So I'm sure it can be done for future purposes. Yep, itu dia satu ni Tuan Haji.
Okay, that's good. So I mean, maybe the department is talking about how to combine these two model programs in one. So it's going to giving more what they call it, best management, water resource management or water management in the country. So secondly, Dr. Asnor is from Satish Venkitasamy.
All right.
We have well-detailed informative systems, especially to public through public info Banjir website and apps. However, do we have similar system for drought information for public to know better, to know details? Any plan and way forward on that, as info kemarau is not accessible by publics? Okay. Very short one.
Yeah. Okay. We do have a public for Banjir, and we do have as well info kemarau. These two website mainly for the public, and currently we also in a division to enhance the info kemarau website. Will be under the section sumber air. So we towards that as well. As I mentioned just now in my early start, in info kemarau we do have only 3 information. For example, the dam storage, the XPI index, and also the river flow relate to the water, relate to the return period. So only these 3 figures will be captured by the public. But I do not know, do they understand about the volume and also the return period? So whatever this has been published recently in info kemarau. So we are upgrading this kind of information for the future, and probably in phase 3, if you look at NAWABS can be accessible for the public, probably the info kemarau will be meshed together with the NAWABS system for that at the moment. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. This to Dr. Zahar. This from Dr. Engineer Hanapi Muhammad. Is talking about flood occurrence every year. Is it due to climate change or something else? And the severity of the flood. And I want to combine this question with Prof. Zul, UTM. He's talking about PRABN. PRAB is a system effective for predicting flash flood. I mean, and the second one is how good the model in simulating flood due to second wave rainfall is normally more severe even with smaller rainfall total. This I commented these 2 questions by Dr. Engineer Hanapi and Prof. Zul for Dr. Zahar to give some deliberation on that.
Okay. The question from Dato Haji Nafi is about the climate changes kan. When can we say about the effect of the climate change? Is it from the, what do you call it, the frequency or the magnitude then? Okay, so actually this is a kind of question that when I was studying in UTM, I asked Prof. Sobri Harun, what actually the climate change? Okay, I still remember what he mentioned to me. The climate change is something not we cannot just say as a mass or physical things. Climate change can be feel the effect. So this is kind of that that I'm presented here in our task. We just monitor the flood event because we are dealing with the flood. So we are collecting the information of the flood. So what do we do is we analyze the data, the extreme, how extreme of the data that caused that flood. So when the flood is very extreme, for example, in 2007, 2014, so this is indication of the climate change. On the other hand, for example, for the flash flood event, we track the frequency of the event. Okay, so if the frequency of the event is increasing year by year, like I presented, the first decade since 2000, it's about 300 report, but now slightly increase for the recent decades and keep increasing. So this is indication of the climate change actually. Well, we don't say it as this is climate change. No, this is only what we can is a hypothesis on what we have. And then in terms of the differentiation of cause of the flood, either this is cause of the climate change or this is because of the clogs of the drain. Okay, I do believe that to answer this question, we should have a better data. That's why in the ID now, instead of we develop PRABN and NAWABS, we also have this, we call it SAMSA, Sistem Maklumat Sumber Air, right? That's right. Sistem Maklumat Sumber Air. So through this system, we have a system that when we have a flood report here, we put inside the system more information about the cause of the flood and then the information on the flood intensity, so that one day we can analyze this kind of data to answer Dr. Haji Hanafi question actually, Tuan Haji. Okay, we go to the Prof. Zul question about the effectiveness of the model to predict for the flash flood. Okay, actually the model, yes, of course, these are two models. So we have a high or we have a longer time for computation of the model because we applied the mesh model to do the simulation. So I cannot say this is definitely effective or this is 50%. I cannot say that because when we say about we talk about the modeling, it depends on the skill of the modeler. For example, in KL, before this, we have, we call it iFirm. So iFirm actually using the old version of the ICM model. Okay, so as we know, at that time, we are also using the 2D simulation and 1D simulation. And of course, the simulation time is very high. So what we did at that time, we make it a small model up to basin model. So that means we model it up to sub basin and then we make it a macro to be a basin model. This is a kind of approach that we can do. But for KL, based on the iPhone model, I can say we can complete the computation time about 10 to 15 minutes to give the information. I think should be enough. But some other places like not KL, maybe the response time is very short. So we should have another model. Okay, currently, actually the ID, we are applying the approval for flash flood approach actually, and then this is still in the approval stage. I think next month, I think I will present the paper to the ICT's committee to get approval for the flash flood. Before that, I cannot reveal anything about the flash flood, but this is another approach. We are not using the 2D mesh or hydrodynamic model. We are using the simple one. We have so many data, so many information that we can manipulate the data to the susceptibility or susceptible approach to give the flood warning to the people. And then about the good of the model for the second wave, okay, this is why we use the hydrodynamic model, because we can model it using a long, I think I can say a bit long data. For example, the 7 days of the rainfall, and then by the data is coming, we can see there's a series of rainfall that can be modeled by the model. So we can see what is the accuracy. In terms of accuracy, I can say like in my presentation, I can say 70% to 90% based on basin. But in terms of response, for example, the first flood, okay, we get the ample time to give a warning, maybe 2 days after that. And then when the second wave comes in short duration, for example, 6 hours, maybe the second wave comes, this is our problem, because at the first we can deal it. At the second time of the wave, we just have maybe short duration to give a warning. So how to overcome this problem? We see the model from the 2 up to 7 days. Inside our bulletin, we will mention when the model, when the flood will be prolonged. So this is how we can tell the people, this flood is not only the first wave, maybe the subsequent wave, so that they can prepare for the severity of the flood event on the site. That's the only measure that we have now. That's why we are still proving our model, our accuracy, and so on to Haji. Okay.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Zahar. I look through the chat. Dato' Hanafi, Engineer Hanafi, and Prof. Zul have a few more questions, but I give to others for and come back to them, both of them later.
Tuan Haji, there's somebody who raised their hand, Encik Muhammad Baharudin, I believe. Do you accept questions from the floor at the moment?
Okay, but
or do you want them to
sure
put in the chat?
Dr. Asnor is still around? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Please, Cik Bahar. Is it Baharudin? I have many Baharudin friends. So which Baharudin? I'm not sure. Okay.
Okay.
Turn on the video, please.
I've requested for them to put the video and audio on. Anything?
Video, please. No, Cik Baharudin. Okay.
Okay, no response. Maybe accidentally.
No response. Okay. Okay. Question from Adib Razi, UTHM, to Dr. Asnor. Is it El Nino and La Nina phenomenon takes as a reference in development, a model in PRABN and NAWABS, and how these two phenomenon give an impact to Malaysia climate?
Okay, thank you to Tuan Haji, moderator, and also the Professor Adib from UTHM. Let me understand what they're going to say here. Two phenomena give an impact to Malaysia climate. Okay, let me brief on the function of the NAWAB and also the PRABN. As you know that the NAWAB is indicate for the drought perspective or drought forecast, something like that. While for the PRABN is mainly has been mentioned by Dr. Dane about the flood forecast, something like that. So this is a two type of system in regards for water management as well. One is for the flood and one is for the drought itself. But the different things in terms of the forecast time. For example, not the forecast time, I mean the forecast. I would say that in advance. For example, for the PRABN, they managed to to provide the forecast 7 days in advance, while for the drought it will be 14 days in advance. But if you're talking about the accuracy, from my point of view, I'm sure that 14 days or 7 days, the forecast will be, the error will be large, too huge error, systematic error, what do you call this, the model error. But when it's come to 2 days or 1 day, I'm sure that they will improve the error by time to time, which has mentioned by MND. They said below than 2 days, they managed to come out a very good rainfall forecast. So I'm sure that the model can capture this as well. But in terms of the climate forecast, for example, for the NAWABS, as I mentioned in my slides, says that this forecast is to show the magnitude or the direction, not really exactly. I mean, the accuracy is not really. There's a lot of error, I mean, for the climate forecast. But however it is, in 2020 drought, our report shows better. I mean, we can manage to publish the paper, publish the report in earlier. For example, in December 2019, we managed to publish the paper, the report. I mean, the drought report in December 2019 for the report of January, February, March 2020. So it shows that there will be a water shortage in Kedah and also in Melaka. So to me, it's a very good direction. We managed to get there, especially for the drought. The same thing goes for the PRABN as well, which has mentioned by Dr. Din. This system, most of these two systems managed to provide very useful information, especially during the flood and also the drought. So that's all I would say. Thank you. Din, anything you can add?
I think the similar answer point nanti.
Okay. This we have about 20 minutes to go anyway. This is for Dr. Zahar, from Mr. Ngai Chan. I'm not sure this is a Prof Ngai Chan or not sure.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Is it? Okay. In the year 1990s, very far away, back. I'm not sure. Dr. Zaha is already born, I think, at the time. While I was doing my PhD, I already alerted the ID about using estimated radar rainfall for flood forecasting. That time they were still using river stage data as input, which is too late to give any usable warning. I was told by the ID that country affected by frontal rainfall can use radar rainfall, but not Indonesia, which experience convectional rain. So how come nowadays it is possible to use radar rainfall? Surely our rainfall is still convectional rain.
Okay.
It's very focused question anyway. Please.
Okay, about the application of the radar rainfall. So, in my slide presentation, one of the slide I mentioned about the 3 kind of the input data that we use now. The first is for the hindcast, and second is the nowcasting, and the third one, the most important, is the forecast rainfall from either NWP or GFS. So, to answer the question, yes, we are using that kind of data actually, and in fact, we have 2 variations of the data, because this data, the NWP data, the forecast data, the radar data is from MMD. So the right agency to answer the question is actually MECLAM. But for the application, yes, I can answer it. And the answer is yes, we applied it. So we have the high level of the data is the NWP, and second one is the GFS, and then the third one is the nowcasting data, and the fourth one is the pure radar data, and then we have the observed data, consists of rainfall, water level, and the flow. So we set the priority inside our model to this kind of priority. So if NWP available, we must do using the NWP data for forecast. But for the hindcast, yes, we all integrate together with the radar data. And in fact, inside the data radar that they call range data, which is radar data has been blended with the NAWABS data for the short duration of forecast estimation. They call it rain. So this kind of data also we put into our model for simulation for the forecasting. So yeah, hopefully this kind of data we use and we have better accuracy in terms of forecast. In terms of the model accuracy, I can say when we are doing the calibration, yes, we can achieve a good accuracy of the model. But the forecast is subject to the availability of data at that time for the forecasting and the quality of the data. Sometimes the forecast data is very less as compared to the actual expected rain come to the ground. So this is kind of uncertainty that we face. Hopefully that answer the question, Tuan Haji.
Yeah, thank you. We have very little time to go anyway, but I'm trying to capture this question from Prof. Zul, UTM, and also Mr. Mao Leong Tan. Prof. Zul is asking, Kelantan's rainfall is expected to be more intense in the future. Then it's talking also about the flood mitigation dams in the upstream. During my time in the department, we did the Sungai Kelantan IRBM, so we know how much is coming to the river, to the sea. Water pollution is another tip to water availability.
Ini Haji jawab.
Ya, ini saya tak nak jawab. Okay, yeah. The second question from Mr. Mao Leong Tan is about the accuracy of NAWABS and how much river water from Sungai Muda being used for irrigation, industry, and domestic purposes. After all, it's about state issues. How to they can allocate, the state will allocate the usage of water. So please, Doctor, two participants in different question.
Okay, thank you. There's a question by Professor Zul regard on the Kelantan scenario. Yeah, I do agree, and Tuan Haji Khairi is part of the team previously. I'm sure that Dr. Haji will be allowed to give some points on that as well. So for your information, that previously, before we do have a project Lembangan Sungai Bersepadu, PLSB. Started bila tu Haji tak ingat ada certain years tu. But before that, normally we do not have a kind of the technique to combine all the bahagian into one project. But since PLSB is the pioneer project in Kelantan, we already gather all the bahagian hit by, if I'm not mistaken, Sungai is the lead of the managers to form a term of reference and also to form the project as well. So I'm sure that all the information we also has decided, if I'm not mistaken, I'm not joining that group so much time, but I'm sure Tuan Haji Khairi is much more reasonable to answer this question. If I'm not mistaken, that in Kelantan project, we do have decided two dams under the TNB. I don't know, will we proceed or cancel? I don't know. Will be Haji, please provide some of the points here as well. So I'm sure all the information of the pollution will be taken into the project as well, because we are gathering a lot of the bahagian, not only flood mitigation project. There will be RIBM involved as well. Now if I'm not mistaken, NAWABS as well, and NAFAS. Everything will be inside there, including BRE. So a lot of the information will be in one project. So we are towards to that as well. We are improving a lot of the water resource as a water centric for any kind of project in JPS. So the second thing about the Mr. Mao Leong Tan regards on the accuracy. Yeah, as mentioned just now, I'm sure that there's a lot of the error, especially for the rainfall forecast. a lot of, if you browse some in journal or literature, normally it says that the area between forecast and also the observation almost more than 400 percentage the area. There'll be a lot. That's a first forecast. But once you come to finest forecast like 2 days or 1 day, I'm sure that your forecast will be improved from day to day. Definitely they will be improved. It's proven. This is how the system works, you know. First of all, there will be a lot of error, and once the data, the real-time data came into the system, I'm sure the forecast will be getting more better and better and better. And that's why we are putting our guideline there, or putting our baseline 2 days. 2 days will be disseminated to the relevant agencies by the PRABN. But for the NAWABS, our baseline is 14 days. 14 days is our warning to the relevant agency as well. So this is how we works actually. And for the case of the Sungai Muda, for your information, yeah, we do have almost 1,000 MLD, the water requirement in Sungai Muda. This 1,000 MLD will be provide for the Kedah and also and only for the Kedah itself. But for this Penang, another 1,000 MLD. I would say almost 2,000 MLD will be supplied for these two states, because Sungai Muda is shared river basin for Muda and also for Penang. But however, from our record, it shows that almost 6,000 MLD will be discharged freely to the sea. This is the average value from January until December. I have shown you just now from my slide, from January, February, March, and April. This is a dry season, very hot and dry season, very less rainfall. And I'm sure that the flow also very less to cope all the water demand at the downstream for Kedah and Penang. But for the case of since start of the middle of April until December, mostly the volume of water in Sungai Muda more than 10,000 MLD, more than 10,000, except in June and July lah, only 2 months, less than 10,000. But the rest, 4 or 5 months, the volume of water in Sungai Muda more than 10,000 MLD. So if you can capture this information or this volume of water and you put into your off-river storage or whatever storages in the downstream, I'm sure you can make use this kind of water volume for your January, February, and March for the next year. I'm sure that you can do it. So this is how we came up from our water balance information. Okay, Ji, dua question tu. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. As moderator, I refrain myself to answer some of the questions that they received. Okay, I think we have about 9 minutes to go. From the both presentation, I look at the model for PRABN and NAWABS also can be as forecasting purposes, and also can be a daily monitoring for water management in any basin, in river basin. Is that true?
Again.
Definitely can. Definitely can as a tool, because
okay.
Because yes, of course, we are using.
I'm looking on the positive side of it.
Yeah.
Okay, so I mean the system can be used as forecasting and also for daily monitoring.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Then I think after this webinar, we can have hashtag as too much water, too little water. I mean how to manage it for the interest of people, because my experience in 2014 it really challenged me how to deal with very little water, but the demand is too high. Okay, so I think this is the way that our system or our expression of our public in our water management in the future. Yeah, I think for the last, I would like to thanks to the organizer for giving me the chance to moderate as a moderator for this session. And thank you yang bagi Datuk Lim, Engineer Datuk Lim, and for visiting the webinar. Thank you, Mr. Seddon from IWK, ASTRICE. At first, I thought this is a lady's name, just to make a joke. Okay, thank you to all the participants.
Dr. Haji, I'm really happy to your question just now, how the PRABN and NAWABS can be integrated for the future plan. So from my point of view, this is a very quick point. I'm sure that the model can be integrate each other, but we also can share the human resource as well.
Yeah.
Human resource we can share each other because first of all, probably we can make use the recent human resource during the flood season, and later on this kind of human resource can be used for the drought season. So we will I would say that can enhance the system, can enhance the human resource as well for the future needs.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. I can mention every one of the participants. I saw numbers of people who attended this webinar is quite is a friend of myself, and also I knew them, but I don't want to mention it each and every one. But I think MyCDNet also offer kind of to our higher institution like university or colleges that if they want to call us for sharing of our knowledge in terms of water resources training, things like that. I think we can work beyond normal kind of scope. Because I saw the Prof. Zul there and the Prof. Adib, but also from UITHM. I think we can work out how to offer this service, not service, after this to sharing of our knowledge. Then thank you to all the participants. I hope all the participants get some things to bring back, and if all any participants in this webinar still wants to get more detailed explanation or deliberation, please keep in touch with our secretariat, Puan Alicia, Miss Alicia, and she can convey the question to our speakers. So through email or whatever media that they can share. Okay, I think that's about all. Now it's about almost 12:30. So I would like to say thank you to our webinar, and we meet again in our next webinar. And
thank you.
We hope that as a Muslim, as orang Islam, good things for our next generation. We can good deeds in the year after. Sesuatu yang baik dapat pahala untuk hari akhirat. InsyaAllah. Kena niat, InsyaAllah. So thank you Datuk. Datuk Tan Sri, Puan Sri, dan semua tuan-tuan doktor, whatever. Saya pun dah kalah kabut dah ni. So thank you. See you in the next programs. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh dan selamat tengah hari.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi
wabarakatuh. Terima kasih organizers and all the audience for giving me an opportunity. Thank you. See you again.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tuan Haji Muhammad Khairi.
And
thank you, presenters.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Datuk.
Thank you.
Thank you, Datuk Asnor.
Thank you.
And thank you,
Thanks, Alicia.
Thank you, Prof.
Moderator, Tuan Haji Khairi.
Thank you.
See you again.
Thank you, Dr.
Thank
Haji.
you, Prof.
So all participants, we have made the evaluation form in the link.
Please join MyCDNet. Go to our website, click the
Prof.
form, and join us. Thank you.
All right,
Okay.
thank you.
See you.
Okay, thank you, Dato'.
Thank you. Welcome.
Bye.
Okay, thank you.
Bye. Bye.
Okay,
Bye.
okay, bye.
Thank you, everyone. Sheldon,
Thank you.
signing off for
See
ASTRICE.
you.
And thank you very much, all my CDNet members, for making this a
Thank you.
success.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Sheldon.
So
Thank
I
you, Sheldon.
think we've still
Thank
got
you,
some
Dato'. Thank you,
participants in the session itself. So just to inform them, these slides and PDF and the videos itself will be made available on MyCDNet website at a later date. So go to MyCDNet website from time to time, and then or either that or Alicia will be updating all the participants later on.
I'll email to everyone too.
All right.
Alicia,
Okay.
have you recorded the chat on the chat?
I think
Yes, the
Sheldon
chat
has
will be
Okay.
the
you.
chat will
Yeah.
be forwarded to Alicia later on, as well as the video.
file. It's a
Yeah.
file, right?
Yeah,
Yes,
Okay.
there will be a file later on.
Thank
All
you.
right.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you,
Bye.
everyone, for making this a success.
Okay,
Thank
thank
you.
you.
Sheldon here
Okay.
from IWK ASTRICE.
I'm not sure
signing
whether
off.
you...
Sorry.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Mm. Okay.